Yeah, Lori's vaccinated. Mommy's vaccinated.
Let's
Liv
greet the
is
people on
vaccinated.
Zoom.
Tommy's vaccinated.
As no one else is here.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
So. Okay.
Good to see you. All right. I gotta go.
You want to help tell? I'm going to tell a story too. You can help me with that. No? Okay. Should we start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
You can sing nice and loud at home and nice and loud in here. Let's fill up the space with our beautiful Shabbat melody. Here we go. Shabbat Shalom u'mevorach. Shabbat Shalom u'mevorach. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shir Hamalot B'Shuv Adonai at Shivat Zion Hayinu Kecholim. Shir Hamalot B'Shuv Adonai at Shivat Zion Hayinu Kecholim. Do you want me to try the Hebrew and you want to do Shabbat Shalom?
Sure.
Okay. Ready? Here we go.
Shabbat
Shalom B'Shuv Adonai at Shivat Zion Hayinu Kecholim. Shabbat Hamalot B'Shuv Adonai at Shivat Zion Hayinu Kecholim. Beautiful.
I also forgot to put my tallis on. It's an issue.
Okay.
We shall resolve.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's great to see you. Shabbat Shalom, Sherry. All right. Would anyone like to light the Shabbat candles?
I'm gonna go get my tallis. This is very
Okay.
important to me.
Yeah. Sonzi, you want to come do it with Mommy? No? Okay.
You gonna do it with me?
Want to do it with Liv? No.
Okay.
No pressure. Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatei b'tzitzit.
Okay. How about I'll do it? I haven't done it in a while. Why not? Why not?
There it is.
All right. Ooh, look at that wind. Everyone, let's do our hands all together. You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
You just need the two. I
Okay.
think this just makes it like easier, like instant. But okay, ready, everyone?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay. Let's continue on page 20 with the singing of Lecha Dodi, welcoming the Sabbath bride. I think, let's try it.
Okay.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Shalom zachor b'dibor echad, hishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad, el shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet. Dali tihila lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki hi mekor haberachah merosh mekedem nesucha sof maaseh. B'machshava tchila lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, ki ba'orech u'mi'ori, uri shir daberi k'vod Adonai, alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'tohol atoch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Ya na 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 na, ya na 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 na, ya na na na, ya na 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 na, na na na, ya na 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 na, ya na 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 na, ya na na na. Let's continue with Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat on page 22. And let me get my capo going. There we go. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid b'boker chastecha, ve'emunatcha b'leilot, alei hazor ve'aleina, ve'alei higayon bechinor. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. So I wanted to share a little bit about this week's Torah portion. We're in the parsha called Shoftim. And in this parsha, Moses is talking about the various kinds of leaders that the Jewish people will have when they come to the land of Canaan. And Shoftim means judges, so that's one type of leader that we talk about. We also talk about in this Torah portion the priests, also that there will eventually be a king in the land of Israel, and also that there will be prophets. And so we have these four types of leaders, and I was thinking about this a little bit in terms of what it might teach us about our inner landscape at this time of year, especially when we're preparing for the high holidays. Like, in other words, if we take it out of the sort of historical, mythical context of thinking about what kinds of actual leader figures would be ruling and helping to lead in the land of Israel, what does that mean to really think about what that can tell us about our own spiritual development, especially at this time of year? And the Sfat Emet talks about, I wrote about this a little bit in my message, like one example would be the Sfat Emet talked about how that verse in which we talk about how there will be judges and officers in the land of Israel can also mean that each of us can have our own judge and our own officer inside of us, and we can really develop that and tell us so that we can know our own moral compass and have our own sense of direction. And similarly, Rabbi Shefa Gold talks about the priests and the prophet and the king all in that same way of what can these different types of leaders tell us about what we should try to develop in ourselves, especially at this time of year when we're looking really into ourselves and doing a lot of self-examination. And so that led me to think about this beautiful story about Elijah the prophet that I was reading today, retold by Rabbi Edward Feinstein. And he writes that a long time ago there was an old man who really loved Elijah the prophet. He really admired Elijah the prophet, because he saw Elijah the prophet as doing so much good in the world of bringing food to the poor and bringing justice to the needy. And he always thought to himself, this old man, I wish I could be just like Elijah the prophet. And as the story goes, a tall man with a coat and a hat and a walking stick knocks on the old man's door one night. And the old man lets him in, and the tall man explains that he needs a place to sleep for the night. And the old man lets him come and gives him tea and lets him refresh himself in his house. And that night, the old man has a dream that the tall man with the hat and the coat and the walking stick says, I want to give you my gift. I want to give you this gift of my walking stick. And the old man says, oh, no, I can't accept a gift. And the tall man says, why don't I lend it to you? And the old man says, well, I can never give it back to you. And the tall man says, we will find a way. So, of course, the story goes that the next morning, the old man wakes up, and there is the walking stick, but the tall man has left. And so the old man takes the walking stick, and he's walking in his village, and he sees an old woman who needs help crossing the street. And suddenly, the walking stick starts to vibrate and drags him over to the old woman and shoves him into the old woman, and the old woman says, oh, thank you, I just was looking for someone to help me. And so the old man is able to help her across the street. And then that same night, the whole village is at a wedding, and the old man is wishing that he could dance, and the walking stick starts to move and twist him around and twirl him off to the beat, and everyone's clapping at the wedding, and then the walking stick lifts him up in the air and throws him up, and he's caught by the guests who all applaud, and they say, we can't believe we've never seen such a beautiful wedding dance. And then he's walking home from the wedding, and he hears, help me, coming from the alleyway. There's a couple getting robbed, and the old man says, I wish I could help them, but I'm not courageous enough to help them. But then the walking stick comes, it turns into a propeller, and it starts going towards the robbers and scaring them away. And then the next day, someone knocks at the door of the old man, and it's the prince's officials. And the officials say, please come to the palace. The prince wants to see you. And the old man thinks he's in trouble. But no, the prince wants to say thank you because you saved my aunt and my uncle who were getting robbed last night, and I want to give you a very special gift, and that is to go to the land of Israel. And the old man can't believe how lucky he is, so he packs his things, he brings his walking stick, and he goes to the land of Israel where Elijah the prophet lived, and he hikes all the way to Mount Gilboa, where supposedly Elijah the prophet defeated the worshipers of Baal. And he has a dream that night, and in the dream, the tall man with the hat and the coat and the walking stick says, may I please have my walking stick back now? And the old man gives him the walking stick, and the tall man with the hat says, may we walk together always and forever, share many more dreams together. And the old man wakes up, and he kind of realizes what has happened, and he lives the rest of his life on Mount Gilboa, telling everybody about Elijah the prophet. And I think it's such a beautiful story because the metaphor just reminds us that we each do have a walking stick, right? We each have something in us that leads us in the right direction. We just only need to really welcome it in and take it and let it guide us in the right direction. So I think together with our Torah portion, where we're thinking about the 4 leaders and how we can develop those qualities of leadership within ourselves, we can also think about that story of Elijah the prophet and his walking stick and really start to think about what is guiding us. How can we develop those qualities to really do the right thing in life, whether it's help another person, whether it's think about, what's on my mind, the tremendous report about global warming. How can we really contribute to making our world a better place? How can we stand up for the vulnerable in society? So I bless us all that we could really think about that, especially as we head into the high holidays, how we can have our own walking stick that will guide us and tell us where we need to go next. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank
you. We rise now for Chatzi Kaddish, the Reader's Kaddish on page 26.
Apologies. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbi.
Amen.
Hadivrach yotev yamlich mochutei.
B'chayechon uvyom echon uv'chayei lechol Beit Yisrael. Bagala bagala uvizman kariv. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam ulal me'amaya yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitrolam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yidaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudashah
Brechu
le'lam min kol birchata v'shirata
tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma. Amen. Page 28, we turn to Baruch Hu. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. may be seated as we turn to page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'alayla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umabdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Page 34. Let's take a moment to take a deep breath. And just listen to the quiet around us. Maybe you hear the air conditioning or someone's breathing, your own breathing. You can use Shema to really listen to what's going on in our own heart and just take a minute to see what's there. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha V'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'otecha v'hayu hadvarim la'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam V'shivtecha v'veitecha u'vlachtecha v'derech u'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'ktabtam al mezuzot beitecha u'vish'arecha Leman tizkeru va'asitem kol mitzvotai v'tem kadoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Page 40. Let's continue with Mi Chamocha. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai. Yai lai la la lai la 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 lai lai. Ya lai la lai la lai la 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 la. Ya lai la lai lai ya la 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 lai. Mi Chamocha ba'ili Madonai. Mi Chamocha neda b'kodesh. Nora tehilot o seifele. Nora tehilot o seifele. page 44. We continue with V'shamru. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et haaretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat v'yinavash, Shabbat v'yinavash, Shabbat v'yinavash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat sos et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Before we continue with the Amidah, I'd love to take some time now if you want to share something that you are grateful for. I would love to hear it. We would love to hear it. Yes.
My grandchildren are here.
Yay! That's so awesome.
A lot of fun.
They're having a good time?
Yeah.
That is great.
Fun.
Yeah. Very fun. Okay. Anyone else? Yay!
The pews came today.
Yes, that's awesome.
It's like it was always here.
Right. Anyone else?
Grateful for my niece Abigail, but that's a constant thing every week. She's great.
That's awesome. Well, I want to say I'm grateful for being here tonight. I mean, this is like a core group of stewards of this temple that are here right now. I just want to say thank you to each. I mean, Sherry, Lori, Tommy, Liv, you are all making sure this temple runs, and Barak and Sonia make sure that I run and that I'm here. But, thinking of all the tremendous hard work and dedication that each of you in your own way, really puts in here. Lori, I'm thinking about especially the pews this week. I mean, they look really beautiful, and it's, it's getting ready for the holidays, so it's exciting, and just feeling grateful for each one of you that's in here tonight. Okay, great, everyone. Let's stand up and turn to page 46 for our standing prayer, Amidah. And so, again, I love this idea of just picking even one phrase to kind of meditate on. We're going to pray together from page 46 all the way to page 62, but again, you can use the words in the pages, pick one prayer, pick a couple. There's a beautiful line really at the end of page 62 that I love to just think about sometimes. It's right in the ending there. It's not even really officially part of the Amidah. It's just almost like a tag at the end. But 4 lines down there it says, Patach libi b'Torah techa, open my heart to your Torah. And I love those words of just, remembering to really be open to what the Torah is teaching us. The Torah might be leading us in another direction than the rest of the society that we live in. And sometimes it's important to be contrary to society, or to at least think about kind of what the Torah is telling us versus what the other messages are that are around us. And so I love that line of just letting our hearts be open to the Torah. So page 46. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. continue now with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah. Sherry, would you like to come and open the ark? Okay. Please rise, everybody. We'll head over to the ark. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah. Udevar Adonai miYerushalayim. And this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadlul Adonai Iti Uneromema Shemo Yachdav Al Shlosha Devarim Al Shlosha Devarim Al Shlosha Devarim Haolam Haolam Omein Al Shlosha Devarim Al Shlosha Devarim Al Shlosha Devarim Haolam Haolam Omein Al HaTorah Ve'al HaAvodah Ve'al Gemilut Chasadim Al HaTorah Ve'al HaAvodah Ve'al Gemilut Chasadim Al Shlosha Devarim Al Shlosha Devarim Al Shlosha Devarim Haolam Haolam Omein Al HaTorah Ve'al HaAvodah Ve'al Gemilut Chasadim Al HaTorah Ve'al HaAvodah Ve'al Gemilut Chasadim Al HaTorah Ve'al HaAvodah Ve'al Gemilut Chasadim Al HaTorah Ve'al HaAvodah Ve'al Gemilut Chasadim. Okay, do you want to all come up and see and read from the Torah? And we're all kind of a small, tight group here, so we can come on up together. We're in Deuteronomy on chapter 16, verses 18 through 20. If you have the Plaut Chumash at home, it is on page 1294, in case anyone wants to follow along. And we are reading right at the beginning of the Torah portion. And we're reading also like one of the arguably, the most famous verse in this parsha for sure, if not one of the most important verses in all of Torah. Tzedek, tzedek tirdof. You probably heard it before. Justice, justice shall you pursue. And I'm really thinking about this report on climate change because right after that, it says tzedek, tzedek tirdof leman tichiyeh v'yarashta et haaretz. That we're pursuing justice so that we can live, and that so we can inherit the land, inherit the earth. And I feel like that verse just rings so true to me right now, that this is now the time that we have to pursue this justice for our earth so that we ourselves can live. It's like it's not metaphorical, it's actually it's actually literal here this year and for the years to come. So I hope that we can really open our hearts, patach libi, open our hearts to what this Torah is teaching us, and really be able to pursue that in order that we can pursue some peace and some wholeness for the earth. So let's do our Torah blessings on page, let's see. Lori, or someone want to hold this side, and Sherry, you want to hold this? Okay, great. And we are here.
This comes first, right?
Yes, that comes first. Amazing. Great. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Baruch hu et Adonai hambarach.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Shoftim ushotrim titen lecha b'chol bish'arecha asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha lishvatecha v'shaftu et ha'am mishpat tzedek. Lo tateh mishpat, lo takir panim, v'lo tikach shochad, ki hashochad ye'aver einei chachamim, v'yisalef divrei tzadikim. Tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, leman tichye v'yarashta et haaretz, asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Beautiful. Okay, and in the presence of our Torah, I bless everyone to pursue justice, each in our own way, and to really open our hearts to what the Torah is teaching us in this season. So thank you so much. And we are going to continue now with Misha Berach, our prayer for healing in the presence of our Torah, which is on page 252. And we have in our pamphlet our names of those for whom we are praying, so I invite everyone to pray on those names. And would anybody like to add the name of someone for whom they are praying in particular this Shabbat? Thank you. Okay. We continue with Misha Berach, holding all those in our hearts who are in need of healing of body or mind or spirit, page 252.
Kor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu.
rise now as we dress the Torah and return it to the ark. Vezot Torah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. Ki lekach tov natati lachem Torati al tazovu et chaim hi lamachazikim ba vetomchecha meushar derachecha darchei noam vechol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu kekedem. Page 282. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer reshit, shelo asanu kagoyi haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu Ushemo echad. You may be seated. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death, all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love we are comforted. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. Our thoughts turn now to those loved ones whose yahrzeits we observe this Shabbat. Helen Lehrer Berg, Sadie Brick, Ethel Bayer, Marie Dauenhauer, Catherine David, Adele Eder, Jean Gunner, Celia Horn, Beth Jaffe, Ruth Kaplan, Lily Lefferts, Lottie Lewis, Lloyd Mergentime, Clara Morgenstern, Emily Newman, Minnie Paris, Ruth Rubin, Diane Shatlis, David Wagner. Would anybody else like to share the name of someone for whom they are mourning or someone for whom they are observing a yahrzeit this Shabbat? If it is your custom, please rise as we turn to page 294 for Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah be'alama divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'b'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kari v'imeru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnasei V'yitadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yit'halal, shemei dekudesha, brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'meru, amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'meru, amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, V'meru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and all Israel, and comfort to all of the bereaved among us. And we say together, amen. You may be seated. Sherry, would you like to share some announcements? Yeah, thank you. Great.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
We have a few announcements. There is Top Shabbat on Friday, August 20th, from 10 to 11:30 in the gym. We have a Misa Rabbi Open House on Sunday, August 22nd, from 2 to 5 at the temple. Rosh Hashanah New Year's greetings are due by August 23rd. Please send your money to Kate. Salih Code Services, Saturday, August 28th at 5:30. We're starting with a barbecue and then Havdalah and a sing-along and changing of the Torah covers. And then every Friday in August, we're having beach Shabbats as well as having Shabbat in the sanctuary. Have a good week, everyone.
Thank you.
Just what time is Beach Shabbat?
Beach Shabbat 5:30 to 6:15. And regular services at 7:30.
Great. Thank you, Sherry.
Yep, no problem.
Okay. Let's close with singing O Javo Shalom Aleinu. We still hope that there will be peace. O Javo Shalom Aleinu. O Javo Shalom Aleinu. O Javo Shalom Aleinu. O Javo Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam, salam, salam, salam. O Javo Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Thank you, Liv. Thank you, Thomas. So nice to pray with everybody. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
And let's continue in a few moments with Kiddush. I feel like we can even do it inside because we have just us.